Recently, the Ministry of Education gave a directive for all higher institutions to adopt the new learning system that is the competence-based education and training system. So I just want to understand, as the National Council for Higher Education, what plans do you have in place to implement the ministry directive?
National Council for Higher Education has responded to the directive of the minister by developing standards for implementation of the competence-based education and training. So we've developed standards. Those standards have been approved by the council, and we have sent them to the institutions.
So looking at the plans that you have, do you believe that this new learning system will be able to help Uganda achieve its vision of 2040, where we have to prioritize innovation, technology, and science?
Well, I believe so, because this approach is student-centered and is intended to impart competences, skills, and attitudes that are required by the world of work.
I just want to understand some of the provisions in the minimum standards for assessing these learners that you've put in place as the National Council for Higher Education.
Let me just emphasize two of them. One is that assessment of the formative aspects of the competence-based education and training is supposed to be to constitute at least 50% of the overall assessment. And the formative aspects include the assessment, coursework, tests, assessment of practicals, assessment of project work, which are very important for skilling the students.
So with the steps that you're undertaking, have you designed like any piece of material or like guides to be given to these higher learning institutions, maybe to help them in coping up with a new learning system?
Those are the ones I've called standards.
Yes.
In a simple way, you may call them guidelines. We call them standards because they are the ones on which we base the accreditation. They are the minimum standards. So every program is supposed to comply with those minimum standards. The institutions may add something that may make them unique, but as far as National Council for Education is concerned, they have to fulfill the minimum standards for any particular program.
I understand there could be some challenges that you've made during this process, of transitioning to CBET. Could you please highlight some of them, Professor?
Well, there'll be the funding, I think, is the major challenge to all institutions, because competence-based education and training is more expensive than the previous approaches of education, because it has a lot of practical aspects, and anything that is practical requires extra expenditure. The institutions will be expected to have more facilities than they had.
I just want to know any take-home notes for vice chancellors of different universities and academic registrars as we wind up the 7th Higher Education Conference.
Each institution should prepare to adopt the competence-based education and training approach, and develop the curricula accordingly or review all the curricula accordingly. And also make sure that they meet the deadline, because as I've said, according to the ministry, to the minister's directive, come the academic year 27-28, no institution will be permitted to enroll first-year students on a program that is not compliant with the standards that we have sent out. All institutions have been urged to endeavor to embrace innovations, and not only to innovate, but to progress the innovations to the market by commercializing those innovations.
Thank you so much, Professor Mary Okwakol. We appreciate you for the time you've rendered us and for enlightening the country about the new education system in higher institutions of learning. My name is Becca Senyonga Mulinde for NTV here in Gulu City.
Thank you.